All right, so we're going to start off with our mixed media and printmaking is to actually talk a little bit about printmaking, because our printmaking is going to create our background or a base actually for our mixed media project. Okay, so we're going to kind of do a little bit of information on here. It says this form of printing is done from a raised surface. Okay, so do me a favor and please write that down. So what this means is, for example, this is an example of one, okay? So if you notice that this surface, okay, is flat and this was actually carved down, so it's the raised surface that actually creates the stamp. Like you can see this one, okay, because this one's raised and this is all pushed back. Okay, a simple example of relief printing is a rubber stamp pressed into a stamp pad, pressed into a piece of paper. Okay, printing plates are made from a flat sheet of rubber. Okay, materials such as wood, linoleum. Linoleum, by the way, is kind of like a rubber, a little bit harder. Rubber or styrofoam. After drawing a picture on the surface, the artist uses a gouge. So this is called a gouge. Okay, it's a carving tool. Okay, so down here, do me a favor. Can you just label this too? This is a gouge down here to cut away the areas that will not be printed. So for example, let me grab another one over here. Okay, so this is a slightly different one. So all the areas that I didn't want printed, I would carve, okay, down. Another one. Oh, where's my practice? This one. So they carved down, so it wasn't going to print there. Okay. A roller called a brayer. Do me a favor. Brayer. Okay, is used to spread a small amount of ink. So this is a brayer. Okay, a lot of people will call them rollers, which is fine. But I kind of remember these because they sound like because they squeak. They sound like a donkey's braying. Okay, small amount of ink on the bench hook. This is a bench hook. Okay, so a bench hook is this. It's a metal plate, okay? This is only used for when you're doing rolling. It's not necessarily saying, hey, I need to do painting, I'm going to put it on here and just use this from the painting. But you hook this onto the edge of the table, okay? That's why it has this little ledge here, okay? And it hooks on and you're able to roll it and it won't go anywhere, okay? And by the way, the amount of actual paint that needs to go on here or ink is very small because you could always add more. One thing about when you have too much, it becomes so thick. All right, so what you want to do is almost like when you're painting a wall, you don't want a lot of paint, okay? You want it to just have a very thin layer that goes on the plate, okay? So you're not getting a huge thick line here, okay? We're not painting, we're rolling it. So you want very thin color on top, okay? So I'm gonna put that to the side. A thin layer, make sure that's lined up, there we go, okay. A very thin layer of ink is rolled onto the stamp and then placed on top of the paper. So you're pressing it. It says the completed print is the mirror image, so it's the opposite. Okay, just to let you know, whatever you're looking at, imagine that everything will be the opposite. Okay, a mirror image of the original plate. One image is called a print. Okay, and multiple prints are called a series. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're actually going to go and do a couple of prints. So I'm going to shift over here and I'm going to show you what materials I need you to go and grab, okay? So please go grab some ink, a marker, okay? A stamp, so one of the pre-made stamps, okay? Paint, some form of paint, okay? So I'm going to get that one, and a stamp pad. There we go, okay? So you need these 4 things. Oh, excuse me. And a water bottle, okay? Make sure there's water in there. Okay, so go ahead and go grab those. Okay, so now that you've grabbed all of those, what we're going to do is we're going to kind of make different prints with using different materials, okay? So the first one is going to be a Crayola. Now, when you get Crayola, the reason why I suggest this one is because it's a washable marker, and you need a washable marker in order to do this. So what you're going to do is we're just going to color in the raised spot. Now, don't worry if it dries. Okay, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna actually hydrate it afterwards. So you're gonna go through, color in the whole space. Now, using this technique, you could use multiple colors, okay? So you can get really a very cool design. So we're gonna add that, there we are. Okay, now watch. Taking the spray ball, you don't wanna go very close because then you're gonna actually spread it all out. So we're gonna kinda go, I'm gonna mist it like this from far away, but I'm not gonna do it over my paper. Okay, see kind of how it's shiny? I'm going to take mine and place it on. Press it. Cool, right? It gives it a nice soft, almost like watercolor look to it, which is very cool. Okay, so we're going to let that dry and we're going to talk about ink. Ink is a little bit different. It's a little bit thicker, okay? And the amount that we're going to use for this, actually I'm going to zoom out. Oh, I'm already zoomed. Excellent. So let's see how much ink, okay? So when I put the amount of ink on, it's very small, okay? And I'm actually gonna hydrate it with some water, okay? My sprayer, and I'm just gonna roll it so it's very thin. And as you can kind of see, I'm kind of mixing it a little bit. All right, there we go. Move this over. Roll it on my stamp, okay? I put ink right here. Now it's okay if you overlap on the other one, absolutely fine. Not a problem. Pretty cool. A little brighter. You definitely see a lot more of the lines that you'll be doing in here, okay? Now one thing you want to make sure is that it's a small amount of ink and some water, okay? Because if it gets too much, a little hard to see. I'm going to zoom in. Let me see how close I can get. Woo. Let me focus. Okay, there we go. You see how this is kind of filled in the spaces? It's because I had too much going on in there, okay? All right, so paint, similar, okay, kind of feel. So I'm gonna flip this over because, actually, you know what? I have plenty of room on here. Get a little bit of paint. Now, the acrylic paint is a little bit thick, all right, just so you know. Now, I do add a teeny bit of water, just a hint, all right? Actually, I'm going to grab a paper towel, just so I can roll this off, and I can have, like, a clean, that is so cool, all right? I'm going to talk about, all right, I'm going to roll it. You're going to find paint just gives a different look, too. A little thicker. Nice, right? As I said, they all kind of look different, okay? All right, so last one. Press that there. Get it nice and clean. Ooh, actually, you know what this is called? This is called a ghost print, is when you print after a print, okay? So if I took this and I print this down and I get little images of it, that's called a ghost print. Actually, I'm going to write that here on the top. Ghost print second print, okay? Just a reminder, with left over ink, okay? So you know that. Okay, last one, the ink pads, okay? Now, please be aware that the ink pads, they only have one color, okay? So you're actually taking your stamp and you're pressing into it. Please don't use multiple ink pads and then not clean off your stamp, okay? So what you want to do is you want to make sure there's nothing on it, okay? So this is Stampin' Clear. Press it on your ink pad. Okay. Oh yeah, that's going to have a nice... So press that on. And you're going to get a different one, okay? All right, so these are... Actually, let's see if we can do a ghost print with this one. Oh, that's so cool, okay? So those are 4 different ways that you can print your stamps with, okay? So we have Crayola marker, we have ink, we have paint, and we have a stamp, and you can create ghost stamps by doing the second ink, okay? When we use our materials here, you don't want a lot of liquid, so not a lot of ink, not a lot of paint, and you want to just kind of hydrate it just a little bit so it's not as thick and clumpy, okay? All right, I would suggest that you take this moment and go wash the items that you were working with, okay? Because in the next soon we're going to be using more. All right, so take this moment, go wash up your stuff. Okay, so mixed media and stamping. All right, I'm going to show you an example of something that I actually was playing around with. Okay, it's a lot, okay, to look at, but you can kind of see how I've mixed both of them together. The background is all stamping, okay? Mine is probably like one layer of brayer, okay? And I'm going to show you how to do that, okay? But everything on here is pretty much all stamping, whether it be from pre-cut, okay, pre-made stamps, or it's found objects, okay? Found objects can be anything that can make a mark, okay? It may have been a roller, okay? Or it may have been from something that has been created, okay? Now for this one, I did put my stamp. I actually made this one many moons ago, okay? It's actually quite amazing that it's still lasted so long, okay? And I did stamp it on here, okay? Now, the background was kind of like this really cool design, all right? Now, on this paper, it tells you how can you put this all together. So I'm going to zoom this in so we can kind of like look over stuff, okay? All right. So it says how can stamping be incorporated into art? So stamping can create texture, design, or a sense of depth within your artwork, okay? So for this, I created this to be like my background. What is mixed media? So mixed media is artwork that did create, oh my gosh, I think I wrote that mixed up. It says mixed up media is artwork that creates with multiple different kinds of art materials. So on here, I have paint, I have oil pastel, I have marker, I have pen, okay? So I have lots of things that are on here, all right? Where does stamping fit in? Well, actually, it can fit in a couple places. So stamping can be incorporated into the design of the background, a design paper, or the overall main image, okay? So if I was making like this tree and I had like a design like this, I can make this the leaves, okay? So it could be in a couple of different layers. It could be the background layer, or it could be in the main image area, okay? How do I break it down? All right. Let's move this there. Perfect. Okay. This is the background. So then you're going to practice this on your sketchbook, okay? You just want to get a plain sheet, okay? This is not necessarily your final project, okay? This is just kind of getting the idea of how to create the different layers, okay? So start with the base, okay? This can be a solid color, a collage of paper, or a mix of both. So what does that mean? Okay. So I could start stamping on white paper, okay? Or I could kind of create like a look, all right? Like that gives it a base. So how did I get this look to just kind of give me a little bit of paint on there? You could take the roller, okay? Add a small amount of ink, add some water, okay? And you can roll the whole thing. You don't want it to be like perfect. Doesn't need to be, okay? You can start there. You can start with a colored piece of paper, okay? If you want, you could grab a fan brush, okay? Dilute the paint and just kind of give it a nice, quick base coat, okay? So those are really 3 options that you can do, okay? Next, build up your background with different kinds of stamps, thick and thin paint, okay, or ink, excuse me, partial or whole. So what does partial and whole? Okay, so partial means, excuse me, like off the side, okay, or if you just want to do partial or whole, okay, so partial means I only see half of it, or I see the whole thing, including coming off the edge, okay. Similar colors or contrasting. Contrasting actually looks really good because sometimes what happens is that people will get all like similar colors and then nothing pops out, okay? So for example, if I had these colors, okay, and this, all right? Actually, let's stick in that gray, okay? So if I had these colors that I was building the background out, it might really work nicely, okay? These are kind of all dark. these right here, and they might blend nicely, but nothing might pop out. But by having a bright color or even like white, things will kind of look a little bit more exciting. Let's roll them on out. Okay. All right. Embellish. All right. So after we create a stamp, okay, our background, kind of stamping, okay, you want to kind of like add some like zing to it. That's the best word I could come up with, is zing. Okay. Best way to do it is what I did was I took pen and I just added like some designs in the background. Okay. So it might be that you can add some swirls, or adding, you know, dots in here, or something like that, okay? Or you could, okay, sorry, I had to stop so we can zoom back out, because I realized that you weren't seeing what I was doing. So you could add designs in, okay, almost like those Zentangles, those details, okay? Sometimes adding small little details in creates like a nice overall look, okay? You can add in words. So it's hard to see, but I have actually all words that describe. So I have sky here, I have nature, I have like different words. Those are different things that you can add in to add some extra detail, okay? Last but not least, okay, is your main image, okay? So here I knew that I wanted to create like this tree with kind of like glowing in the back. Obviously I don't think I'm really done with this, but I think it was good for just the practice, okay? So I put a tree, that's why I went with green to kind of give it more of a natural feel, okay? And I used oil pastels. Lots of things will work on here. You could take extra pieces of paper, collage things on here, okay? Color pencils, markers, tons of things to create your top image, okay? All right, so I'm going to quickly show you what I'm looking for you to do, and then you can just get started on practicing, okay? So on the back side, you're going to grab a couple of different stamps. I want some pre-made ones, get some found objects. I would suggest that maybe you have 3 different types of inkings things. So I'm going to go with yellow as my paint. I'm going to go with black ink. And I think I'm going to do gray. Oh, that's kind of like crazy weird, but that will work. Okay, so I'm going to go and add in, I'm going to use, I got to shake the yellow out. That comes out a little bit. Okay, I'm going to add some water because I want to, hydrate that a little bit. And I think I'm going to use my, let's do this, okay? So you want to create, you know what? I want you to create a background, and I want your main image to be, you know what? Let's put it as your name, okay? Let's see if you can do that. So this is really not a cool one. So I'm going to put that there. Looks like a flower. Oh, that's kind of cool. Okay. These flowers are a little bit different. As you could tell, they're brand new for this video. Okay. All right. Ooh, you know what? I kind of want to put a base down of color. So I'm actually going to take some of this, and I'm going to add some water. And I'm going to add some texture real quick. So I would like some texture just to put it on the bottom. I should have started with this first. There we go. All right. Just so we can fill in some. There we are. Okay. There we go. All right, so next, what do I want to do? I want to put, hold on. Oh, let me switch. There we go. Sorry, I had to go and grab this. Okay, so I'm going to use this as my item that I'm going to color in. I'm going to keep building this up. So I'm going to color this in. And remember, you want to use Crayola. Okay, you want washable. And when you add water to it, you don't want to soak it. You just kind of want to like mist. I'm going to get some full prints, and I think I want some ghost prints. Aha! Yes! I love the ghost prints. So we're going to keep going through. So 3 different kinds. All right, so I'm going to put this one here. And a lot of times when you're looking at this stuff, okay, it's all about design. It's like, Looking at it saying what feels balanced to you. What looks cool to you. I'm going to get 1/2 of the page because remember you can have partials. Let's see if I can get another one. Oh, I can. Oh, look at that. Beautiful. Okay. And then I think I'm going to do a found object. Woo! Okay, my found object is going to be this. Pretty cool, right? You're like, hey, that's actually not so bad. I know, right? Okay. Now, from here, not much to it, okay? Hardest part of this whole project, honestly, although it has a lot of things going on, like materials, the cleanup is the pain, okay? All right, so from here, what I want you to do is, after that, come up with something that goes on top, okay? I would like you could do your name, or if you want to just do a drawing on here using 2 different materials, you could do a paper on top of it. You can put other things, absolutely fine. Oh, I forgot embellishments. Embellishments. So I'm going to put some drawing to add more to this, embellish this a little bit. So we're going to do this. Add in some details. So I'm embellishing, that means I'm adding some designs. Don't forget, you can easily write words into it. So if I want to write flower, I love writing words. Beauty. Smile. Ooh, that's good. Okay. All right. So design your background, okay? Use 3 different types of inking process, okay? Try to change up things, all right? So do a found object, a pre-made one, one that's a rubber, okay? I'm looking for some embellishments, okay? And then some kind of image on top. So like here, I might draw I could probably put like a sunflower or something like that on top of this. Ooh, getting excited. All right, and that's it. Actually, I just remembered. Don't forget, everything has to get cleaned up, okay? Do not drop the stuff into the sink. And if you are done with everything and you're ready to plan your project, remember, you have to request that you get one of these rubber stamps. You only get one, okay? And any scraps that you have, please put it into the practice bin, okay? So other people can, go ahead and practice on them. All right.